Company? Are you all right? You're home now. Everything's going to work out. You'll see.
Everything's the same. Nothing's changed except me.
This chair has been occupied by several people during the past few weeks. What they have said adds up to a very grim story. One young man has died, and another stands before you charged with his murder. You've heard the facts, and now you must reach a decision as to the guilt or innocence of Rodney Harrington. It's no easy task to hold the fate of a fellow human being in your hands. Nevertheless, this practice is the keystone of our legal system. And I'm confident that you will discharge your responsibilities with compassion, intelligence.
How long has he been talking?
And justice.
Just warming up.
The defense has spent a good deal of time exploring the background of the deceased, Joseph Chernick. They've attempted to paint him as an undesirable element in our community. I wonder if it wasn't this same kind of logic, this prejudiced class distinction, that led Rodney Harrington to the wharf that night to administer his own brand of justice. It was the defense who put down the lines of demarcation between the good life, so-called, and the irresponsible life, so-called. Murder is the charge. Murder in the first degree. Why has the state made this charge? Because it is the state's judgment that the death of Joseph Chernick was intended by the accused, that he willfully, maliciously premeditated the crime, brutally assaulted the deceased, and then attempted to conceal his actions.
I can't reach the water.
Okay, Slugger. You couldn't take any more?
No.
Me either. Hey, easy there, sport. Rod used to lift me like this.
Larry. Larry, come on, honey. We're going to be late.
Are we?
Yes.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Oh.
You want a drink of water?
No, thanks.
Go ahead. That's the fountain of youth. Old Larry there was over 6 feet tall before I got him away from him.
2 more seconds in there, and I'd have screamed.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Well, I guess I'll go out and throw a snowball at the bandstand or something.
Yet the defense contends that it was an accident. I'd like to read you the dictionary definition of the word accident. Anything that happens unexpectedly, without design, or by chance. For example, I was there by accident. Unexpectedly. There was nothing unexpected about what happened in view of Rodney Harrington's long-standing protective attitude towards his younger brother. Without design or by chance. We have heard the sworn testimony of the deceased sister that Rodney Harrington did, in fact, design the death of her brother, that he intended to leave nothing to chance. Rodney Harrington did not go to the wharf that night by accident. By his own testimony, he went there specifically to find Joe Chernick. And the state contends that he went there even more specifically to kill Joe Chernick. The state has no doubts as to the guilt of Rodney Harrington. He stated that he would kill Joe Chernick, and he did. Therefore, the state asks that you consider no other verdict than guilty of murder in the first degree.
Yes, Rodney Harrington went to the wharf that night. And yes, he went there to find Joe Chernick. He never denied it. But let's don't take that fact and bend it and twist it to make it look as if he's a cold-blooded killer. Rodney Harrington doesn't have a criminal mentality. He doesn't have a criminal record. He is not a criminal. If there's anything criminal in this case so far, it's the negligence of Joe Chernak's family. A father who allowed his son to drop out of school and run the streets, breaking the law and anything else he happened to resent at the time. A sister who didn't take the time to talk to her brother about the beating he inflicted on Norman Harrington, or to question the extent to which he was forcing his unwanted attentions on young Rita Jacks. Yet who is Rodney Harrington's accuser? This same sister, an individual who might understandably find it very difficult to accept the idea that she could have prevented what happened, that she might have put Joe's footsteps on a better path, channeled his destructive energy into something more useful, that she's as much to blame for her brother's death as anyone. When Rodney Harrington went to the wharf, he didn't take a steel gaffing hook in his hip pocket. He didn't take anything with him except a sincere and praiseworthy intention to solve a problem that should have been solved in Joe Chernak's own home. Now, what happened on the wharf when Joe Chernak attacked Rodney Harrington was unfortunate. But it wasn't precipitated by anything Rodney Harrington did with malice or ill will. It was not premeditated, and it was not intentional. Now, you've been told that it was, but that is simply untrue. It was the fruit of years of misunderstanding and the inability of Joe Chernak to comprehend any kind of communication other than physical violence. If Rodney Harrington is guilty of anything, it is of trusting in people to look things squarely in the eye and to solve problems rationally and intelligently. But he is not guilty of murder. And if you bring in the verdict the state has demanded, consider yourself subject to the same verdict if you ever have to defend yourself against an irrational assailant. We have seen justice miscarried through good intentions before. 20 years ago, another man faced a similar charge in this same room, and he was sentenced to life imprisonment for a crime he didn't commit. I admonish you to weigh carefully the questionable evidence upon which the state has based its case, bearing in mind that the letter of the law prescribes that a man must be found guilty beyond the shadow of a doubt. Beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Preview from the continuing story of Peyton Place.
What do you want? Rodney, betrayed. My mill for your son. Still a go to father now, telling the truth, telling you lied. Admit it now while the jury's out. It's not too late.
If they find him guilty,
for the rest of our lives, you can look at me and think, she helped put him there. My wife.